A survey conducted before the 2024 presidential election showed that 21% of Americans would consider moving abroad if their preferred candidate lost the United States election. With 50.2% of voters finding themselves in that position, this video is for 21% of them. And you're not here to see me do that math, but I am prepared to tell you how I moved to Denmark and the reality of how you may or may not be able to do it yourself. Now, Google data shows that searches for moving to Denmark spiked in November of 2024, and I even noticed an uptick in my YouTube data. The appeal of Denmark is strong, and the Danes are nonstop marketers of their high quality of life, strong social safety net, and a focus on equality. But before you begin Danish lessons via Duolingo, let's transition to reality. Denmark is one of the hardest countries to move to, and your pathways are limited. So how did I do it? I visited Denmark for the first time in November of 2016, just after a previous United States election, and I moved to Denmark in 2017. But despite the optics, I didn't move for political reasons, and I've never considered myself some kind of political refugee here. My move to Denmark began by chance. My partner was asked to visit Copenhagen for work. He wanted to help with his company's recent acquisition of a Danish company, and the need presented itself. He was an immediate asset to the company here, and they asked him to extend his stay through early December of 2016. So when it was extended, I came over to visit during the American Thanksgiving holiday, and I left here thinking that was nice. I got to see a little bit of Denmark. I never planned on it, and I probably won't be back, right? But I was wrong. And by the end of his first trip, they asked him to consider doing an expatriation here for 6 or 9 months, and if he liked it, that it could perhaps be extended to a 2-year expat contract. Well, that was 8 years ago, so needless to say, we did enjoy living here, but these opportunities don't just fall out of a coconut tree. Sorry if that was too soon. Still, the pathways for you to move here are limited, and we should discuss them before I tell you about how you can move here yourself. Denmark has strict immigration policies and a strong focus on preserving its cultural identity. The immigration policies in Denmark would have members of the Republican Party salivating, and anti-immigrant rhetoric is just as hot, if not more, than it is in the United States. There are always shifting laws and political discussions around tightening immigration to Denmark and how those laws can further restrict immigrants who are already living here. There's a level of nationalism in the political discourse, and some of it is conscious and others just subconscious. But you won't escape that kind of thing by moving here. You'll just be on the other end of it. Still, Denmark has a need-based immigration system which prioritizes skilled workers and circumstances that would benefit the economy. It's very protectionist with a lot of hoops to jump through and uncertainty for those who are living here. Even me, after 8 years, isn't necessarily guaranteed the right to live here permanently. So how can you get here? Well, a work visa is the fastest pathway. I'll add links and relevant websites in the description of this video, but the positive list is a good place to start. That's a list of jobs that are in demand in Denmark, which include industries like healthcare, engineering, shipping, and logistics. Think of big businesses that are making major investments in Denmark like Maersk or Novo Nordisk, who have a hand in shaping these laws. There's also the pay limit scheme. This shortens the process for high-paying jobs. The minimum annual salary needed to qualify is 487,000 Danish crowns, or about 69,000 US dollars. That scheme is what brought my partner here because he was moving with the same company that he worked for in Philadelphia. It made it a much easier process than most people who are starting their job search from scratch. Those steps, if you are in that category, would be to find a job here in Denmark. There are portals like workindenmark.dk that can help you with that, and you would need an employer-sponsored visa, which you can apply for through nuidenmark.dk. That cost us around 3,000 kroner, but the second most popular option would be a study visa. Now, for those requirements, you need to enroll in a Danish university and pay tuition unless you're from the EU or EEA. You would have to apply to a Danish university. That tuition is usually going to range between 6,000 and 16,000 euros per year for non-EU students, and you have to show proof that you have the financial means to support yourself while you're here. That's about 14,000 US dollars. There's also rules for international students around how long you can stay in Denmark after you graduate. Now, you automatically have 6 months for job seeking, and then you must reapply for a job seeking residence permit. Now, some recent laws have changed so that you can actually stay and apply for a visa that will allow you another 3 years for your job search. However, this is on a case-by-case basis. Now, currently, I'm in Denmark under what would be considered family reunification. That's for those with a Danish spouse or partner or close family. This requires the partner that is living in Denmark to meet certain financial criteria and housing requirements. You must prove that you have a shared life, so that you have a marriage or a long-term relationship, and this is one of the most scrutinized applications, in particular for Danish citizens who are bringing a non-EU person to live in Denmark. Now, permanent residency and citizenship is something you may qualify for, but it's also very difficult. For permanent residency, you have to live in Denmark uninterrupted for 8 years. There are varying employment requirements that go along with it, and you need to prove your Danish skills. And for citizenship, you have to be here for 9 consecutive years, pass a higher level of Danish, and pass a citizenship test. So there are a lot of hoops involved in just moving here and further hurdles that you must cross in order to get permanent residency or citizenship. Now, if you're coming here with a refugee status, please keep in mind this is not for personal distress. This is for people that are seeking asylum, people that are fleeing war, people that face systematic persecution or life-threatening danger in their home country. Disliking US politics or feeling culturally discontent does not qualify you for this type of residency. But moving to Denmark is possible. It just requires planning, effort, and meeting some very strict criteria. If you are serious about moving to Denmark, this can be a great place to live, but be realistic about the steps and the challenges involved. For now, you can start by learning about the culture and the language and figuring out what your pathway would be. My channel has a lot of videos that can help you with that part, so subscribe if you haven't already and follow me on Instagram for updates. This is just one of many misconceptions about living in Denmark, that it's easy to do and anybody should have the right to do so. But if you are serious about moving to Denmark, be prepared for all kinds of challenges when you do move, just like you would anywhere else in the world. The internet and social media is full of myths about life in Denmark, and I made this video right here to show you some of them and debunk some of those myths. So watch this next and stay positive wherever you're living.